Hello folks, welcome back to The Slice, and we are recapping the Monte Carlo Masters, where Fabio Fognini, the most Italian sounding and looking man, won his first ever Masters 1000 tournament in pretty crazy fashion. So we're going to check in on what happened and what this means going forward. So we're going to look at all what happened: Djokovic losing, team losing, Nadal losing to Fognini, and the final. We're going to check all that out right now on this episode of The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Welcome to The Slice.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. Thank you for tuning your old dials in or checking in on your smartphone. Obviously, whatever you're doing around the world, welcome to The Slice. I'm stoked to have you. Thanks for being with us through Monte Carlo. Made a couple of videos. It was a crazy tournament. If you haven't yet, click that subscribe button. Also, send this video, share it, share it with your tennis fans. If you got other people in there, we want them to join the Slice community. So send this to somebody who's maybe an Italian tennis fan or just a fan of Fabio Fognini. I want to see some diehard Fognini fans before he won this tournament because it's pretty easy to be a fan after this tournament of Fabio Fognini. He is the first Italian to win the Monte Carlo Masters since 1968, and he did it in amazing fashion. He beat, like I said, a bunch of great players, but he did it in pretty dominant fashion, and the way he was playing was super exciting, and I couldn't actually believe some of the stuff I was seeing from on a hard court. He's so strong, and his ability to make shots is up there with anyone on the planet on his day, and it seemed like every time he played this tournament, it was his day. So he played Dusan Lajovic in the final from Serbia, which is obviously another weird thing. It's like he wasn't supposed to be there either. We're going to get to that. But the final was close. There was multiple breaks each way, but it was just some great hard clay court tennis, like the drop shots and the sliding into shots. It's just I kind of forgot what clay tennis was like because there's been so much hard court and grass since this time last year. It's awesome, isn't it? I'm psyched on clay. Anyways, so the final is great. Congrats to Fabio Fognini. Who did he beat to get to the final though? He beat Alexander Zverev. That's a big deal. That's the third ranked player in the world right now, and he's great on clay. Last year he won Madrid, if I'm not mistaken, and he's had lots of success here before. He won at Rome 2 years ago against Djokovic. That was a great win for him. He beat Koric in 3 sets, which is another tough player to beat. And then, of course, he beats Nadal. Against Nadal, I didn't actually see the match because they were all at the worst times, but I looked up the stats and looked at the highlights, and I was insanely impressed. Fognini won 56% of first serve return points against Nadal. That's meaning that Nadal actually lost more points when he got his first serve in than he won, which that's not normal. Especially on hard courts, that wouldn't be normal. And if you remember in the Australian Open, Nadal was hitting a serve harder and more, it looked like better place than he had in maybe his whole career. He's being more aggressive. But this was showing that his serve was not working at all against Fognini. Fognini was eating these things up on the return. And the percentage, I think Fognini won 65% of the return points on his second serve. So not normal numbers, especially against a guy like Nadal. But, I mean, Nadal is easier to break than other players at the top who have bigger serves and more aggressive games. But it seemed like Fognini was able to push Nadal around from the baseline, especially when he was serving, which is alarming if you're a Nadal fan or if you're Nadal. Again, Nadal came out after the match and said he played one of the worst matches he's ever played on clay. So obviously he was not at his best, but Fognini stepped up. And what Fognini was doing was standing close to the baseline and hitting shots through the court very easily. He stood near the baseline and he made these shots. His forehand has a very short backswing, and so does his backhand. He kind of just punches the ball, but he seemed just locked in all tournament and was hitting these shots that he needed to consistently over and over and over. I just couldn't believe the winners that he was hitting on clay when he was so close to the baseline. He was hitting like clean winners, it seemed like he had way more firepower in this match than Nadal did. So pretty crazy to see. Fognini's jacked. He's like pretty swole, like that's the goal. And that rhymes. And I'm a poet. If you didn't know that I was one. I'm just kidding. But I'm a big fan of Fognini, and that was pretty sweet to see. The atmosphere there was awesome. I want to be in Monte Carlo next year. But what else happened in this tournament? Medvedev was on fire. He defeated Tsitsipas, and then he defeated Djokovic. So that's crazy. I talked about him in my last episode of the Slice Front Row, or list my top 3 hottest players on the planet right now. And spoiler alert, it was Federer, Felix Auger-Aliassime, and Medvedev. And I talk about that why. So check that out in the link below. Also, Dusan Lajovic, extremely impressive. Beat David Goffin, Dominic Thiem, then Medvedev, and looked great even in the final against Fognini. So is he going to be a threat in the future clay court matches coming up? I guess so. He looks super solid in his all-round game. So that's what happened in Monte Carlo. Fognini came out and won his first Masters, which is awesome to see. Our friend Beckett Chung here said that he thinks he might retire. I'm not sure I would think that after he just won, but maybe he's like a dad and he's like, I'm just going to go out with a bang. But maybe him being a father has like settled him down a bit, and now he's like taking his anger and focusing it on his game. But he looked very impressive in Monte Carlo, and he's going to be a threat now for the rest of the clay court season, I hope. But what do the results at Monte Carlo mean? So what I think it means for Rafael Nadal is that he did not look the same that he did in past years at the beginning of the clay swing. So this is concerning, I think, if you're a Nadal fan. There's reason for real concern here. The last 3 years, Nadal came out and won Monte Carlo. He's won it 11 times, I think, or maybe even 12. I should have looked that up. But he usually starts strong, and he usually does the whole clay swing strong, but he didn't start that strong. His first few matches at Monte Carlo were good, but then he had an upset against Fognini. So I don't think we should completely look past it, and maybe this is the year that he starts to slow down on clay. If you've noticed for a while, he's been having injuries for a while, and he's been getting older for a while. He's 32 now, and he's played in a way that wrecks his body a lot more, and he's been more injured than Federer. So we're always wondering, it seems like he's slowing down on harder courts and these other things like grass, but then he gets to the clay swing, and he's been super solid the last couple of years. But then this year, he lost. He didn't have a great tournament. He lost points in Monte Carlo. So we're going to see what happens, but this could be the year that he slows down. But then again, he could come and win every single other tournament on clay that he plays. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. For Djokovic, he's out of sorts right now. It doesn't seem like a threat on court. And I think that players coming in to play him have a lot of confidence right now. They're obviously still the underdogs, but he's lost early in 3 Masters in a row now. And it's a big deal. He's not playing in Barcelona, which starts tomorrow. He's not in the draw, as I saw it today. So we'll see what happens with him. I think he can pull it together again, but he seems just lukewarm right now. So we don't know what's going on with the Joker. But does anyone ever really know what's going on with the Joker? That's my question to you. And with Dominic Thiem, seems to be lacking consistency, not confidence. He won Indian Wells, which is huge for him. We talked at Miami, and he told me that it was like a big deal for him. It's a bigger deal. Winning Indian Wells was a bigger deal for Thiem than getting to the final of the French Open to Nadal, because he said he got over the hump and he won and he beat Federer, the GOAT, and he did it on hard court, which proved a lot to himself on what he's been working on. That wasn't a Slice exclusive, which he told me, by the way. Thank you guys for getting me there. But I think he should be fine. I think he'll do great in this clay swing, and this was just a hiccup of a tournament. I think he's going to focus down, and he's a pro. He seems like he's always been just like a pro, getting things back under control. So that is a recap of Monte Carlo. Barcelona starts tomorrow. It's looking great. We got Nadal as the number 1 seed and Zverev as the number 2 seed. No Djokovic. Don't know why that is. That's a bit weird as well. So if anything y'all know about Djokovic, let me know. Hit me in the comment section below, because I don't know what's going on. But let me know what you guys think these weird occasions happening in Monte Carlo mean for Djokovic, Nadal, and Thiem. Let me know in this comment section below what they're going to do in the rest of this clay swing. And do you think Rafael Nadal is slowing down? One last thing before we end. A couple of you commented in the last video saying you love the videos, so thank you, but you wish they were a bit longer. Me too. I do try and keep these around 8 to 10 minutes long, these ones, but I can only dedicate so much of my life to making videos. I'm trying to dedicate more to it, and the way I can do that is by being supported by you guys. That's why I've created the Slice Front Row, which I've obviously been talking about a lot, which is an extended show I do on Patreon. It's usually about 25 to 30 minutes long, and we get more in depth. It's not exactly better, it's just more stuff. I don't talk about anything there that I don't really talk about here. But I do have new topics there, so that's not true. And I show sneak previews of things before I release them here. So if you want to support us and then eventually, hopefully I can just have every video being super long and better and awesome, consider partnering with me for $4 a month on Patreon. You can check it out, sign up, and if you don't like it, you can cancel it, and you'll be down $4 for the first month. But that only counts if you watch through the end of the month. So it's up to you, really. Ball's in your court. But if you could support us, I can make this better. If you can't right now, I still love you, and I'm still going to bring you videos all the time covering tennis because it's the greatest thing on the planet. We'll see you in Barcelona. Thanks for checking in on the Slices coverage of the Monte Carlo Masters. Thanks for watching, folks. You can, as always, click here to subscribe, probably to something in the box over right about here, and then click this video or click this box right here to check out the Slice Front Row, where you'll see the best tennis talk show on the internet, I promise you. Thanks for checking in, folks. See you next time.